Thank you for coming to tonight's screening of My Friends, the Comedians. Please ensure that you have your cell phone silenced. Enjoy the show.
Hello, fellow joke enthusiasts, comedy connoisseurs, and champions of chuckle. Welcome back to the show, and if you're new here, my name is Jacob Marscola, and this is My Friends, the Comedians, a podcast where I sit down with a friend and discuss the mysterious, delirious, and unserious realm known as comedy. Sitting across from me is a friend of mine who just so happens to be a comedian. Ladies, gentlemen, everyone listening, let me tell you, it's probably the most intimidating amount of topics that I'm going to have to try to hit with this person because they do a lot with improv. They do a lot with stand-up. They do especially a lot with TikTok interviewing comedy. They are, I would say, an internet celebrity and influencer, and also happens to be my friend and a comedian. Let me introduce to the show our third guest, Mr. Noel B. Doherty.
Hello, Jacob. Thank you so much for having me on. And might I say, first of all, love not just the intro where you were gassing me up, but the intro part before that. I really liked that. I thought that was super cute.
I
Champions of Chuckle? Hell yeah. Am I allowed to curse?
No, absolutely.
Okay, bang.
We talked about this in the first episode, Owen and I, about how like cursing gets a bad rap because it is much more useful than a lot of people let it on to be.
Yeah.
And we won't talk about it. I feel like I get this question so far, 3 episodes in, every single guest like, can I curse? And then we talk about it for a little bit. And it's really funny.
Yeah, I regret to inform that I did not watch the first 2 episodes. This was quite impromptu. Me and Jacob are just fresh, hot off of improv practice.
Yes.
And it was a great practice.
I loved it.
We did great.
Really good practice. I had a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun in general with our new people.
Oh my God, I love the team this year.
So I have an idea that me in the editing process right now is going to decide right now if I'm going to cut it out because it might be a fun thing for people to not know about, but I'm going to tell you right now. Here's the idea.
Okay.
Thanks for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Super exciting to have you on the show. You were one of the first names I wrote down for many reasons, one of which is you are doing comedy with me right now.
Yup.
And that was a huge thing. When I said it in the intro, and I'm truthful about it, it's intimidating the amount of topics that I as a host feel we need to hit tonight. We probably won't.
Right.
But there's a plethora of things that you have your hand in terms of comedy. There's a plethora of things that you have your hand in just entertainment in general. But even just the subsection of comedy, you do improv with me. You do stand-up with me. Mm-hmm. You do a interview TikTok series. You are generally a comedy social influencer.
Thank you.
I guess before we get into that, we'll talk about your journey and everything. But
Bang.
A question that I'm asking everyone on the show: if your personality, all encapsulated, was a book on a coffee table, what would that book on the coffee table be?
This is a great question.
Like a real book, or it doesn't have to be, but if you could.
I was asking Kevin Keane, your second guest on the show, like what my persona is as like a stand-up, as a performer, and he was saying that like he just describes me to his friends as like silly guy, like unpredictable goofball, and then also I do impressions, which is something I love. Like I love character bits.
Impressions are great. Sorry to interject real quick. I want to like genuinely as like a list on like just building my comedy persona or just being like practicing. I want to take a good month and like study impression, or like maybe 2 months, and be like, I just need to get some,
dude,
because it's
good
great
to have.
It's so good to
good to have that in your back pocket.
Absolutely.
If I was a coffee table book,
to help you out, I'll give you some time to think a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
My answer is I have a book called, or I forget what it's called every time, but it's about the history of improv. Mm-hmm. And it's a white book.
Truth.
I don't think so.
Is it by Sharna? Is it by? Oh my God!
It's a white cover. It has a bunch of like caricatures.
Truth in comedy.
No. It says improv in big letters. Like that. The title involves improv. It's about improv specifically. I do know what book you're talking about, but that is in this book.
Okay.
But it's an improv history book, basically about all of the comedians who have made improv what it is, and that alone part of my personality. But also have yet to read a single word, and so that's an additional thing. That's like, oh, I've never read the book, and that's also a big part of me is that I don't like reading. But that's me as a coffee table book.
I want to say like me as a coffee table book, like cheerful entertainer or like silly guy.
The book is called Silly Guy.
I don't know.
I like it. I like it.
Martin,
Is it
Steve Martin's book is called Born Standing Up. Isn't that clever?
That's really cool.
And like he did stand up for like 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't have one singular
That's fair.
comedic outlet that I am only focusing on.
It also doesn't have to be a comedy book if you don't want. Owen, his answer was like a 100 like facts about sports or something. And he's a comedian I brought into the show, but like his personality is more sports.
He's so sport.
He's very sport.
What did Kevin say?
Kevin, Is This Anything? The Seinfeld book. It's a book that has like just a bunch of jokes of his. It's not really like a formal book. It's just like a bunch of his jokes that he's written, all different, all new jokes every time you flip the page. And it's a book that he owns, has read mostly.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good for him, yeah.
I guess I would say,
Do you read many books? I guess that's like also a good question. Do you read much books?
I don't know how to.
You don't do the.
I don't know how.
You don't
to.
do the read.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay. Do you,
I've read Bossy Pants by Tina Fey, Yes Please by Amy Poehler,
awesome.
Mindy Kaling's book, Steve Martin's book, Kenan Thompson's book. So my favorite genre of book is comedian autobiography. You remember Jack Reichert from Ruckus? He played Jock.
Yes.
He also has a book. He put it out while he was in college.
Wow.
While he was at Georgetown.
That's awesome.
That's the most recent comedy book that I read.
I'm gonna help you out.
And
I think
good. It's called Ha, Laugh at Why You're Laughing. Highly recommend.
That's awesome. I like that a lot. I'm gonna say that your coffee table book then is a stack of comedic autobiographies.
Oh,
that's just. I think
thank you.
it's an indeterminate amount of autobiographies of comedians.
Thank you so much.
That's probably yours.
Wait, am I supposed to pick a specific book that already exists or come up with my own book name?
No, pick a specific book. But you seem no. You know what? I'm not a good host. I didn't explain the prompt.
I'm gonna do Yes Please by Amy Poehler.
Okay, that's
because
awesome.
I see me and Kevin as Amy Poehler and Tina Fey.
That's
and
cool.
Freaking obviously, I'm Amy Poehler.
Absolutely.
And he's obviously
Of course,
Tina
you're
Fey.
Amy Poehler. Yeah.
Not just because he wears glasses.
Absolutely. No, I think that fits actually really, really well. I love that a lot.
Thank
That's
you.
really good. Maybe we'll have a Nolby news on my friends, the comedians.
Oh my God, literally boom. I'm so down.
At both of you. Eventually, I'll cycle through all of my friends who are comedians, and I'll have to bring some people back.
Dude, I would love to come back.
Absolutely. But you'll come back in like a year and a half after I've gone through a few people, maybe.
Yeah, bang.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you for playing with my
Good question.
opening question.
Good question.
So you, Noel, are a comedian.
What?
Yeah.
What?
You didn't know that?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What, like silly joke and stuff?
Like silly joke, but even like going deeper than that, like profoundly funny.
Oh my God, stop.
Oh, you broke the bet.
I know, you were too sweet. You were too sweet with it.
Maybe we should start doing that on stage more, like trying to break each other instead of like trying to get each other to laugh, trying to like get each other to cry. Being really sweet on stage. Dude, we had in practice. You talked about practice earlier. We had improv practice. We had a really like sad, but funny, but pretty sad scene.
Yeah, but it like really set the stage for like funnier other
Yes,
stuff.
absolutely.
So for reference, you guys, someone played a character and she said, I had a miscarriage earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
And then her scene partner said, who's Miss Carriage? I've never met her.
It was great.
And then later on, I came into the scene as Miss Carriage, obviously. I was like, hi, I'm Miss Carriage. Cause duh.
Because of course.
Right there. That was a lob. That
And
was
then
a softball.
I think the rest of the carriages came at some point. The
There
whole
was
the whole family was there.
There was a Sarah Carriage.
Sarah
daughter.
Carriage.
There was a Mr. Carriage.
Mr. Carrot, who was like the illegitimate father, actually, which was great.
Yeah.
No, but
Improv is a team sport.
improv is a team sport, and very important thing too. Improv is a comedic art. It does not always have to be funny for it to work. I love dramatic improv at times. I think it's super cool if someone could tell like a serious dramatic story, and then like it gets broken up by a beat of comedy. I love that a lot.
I've never tried that.
I'd love to at least in like a scene, or I don't know, it's more of like a thing you see in long form because like in long form you have a long story, you have things going on. That in long form you need the kind of serious break in between the funny. Short form for the most part, you can kind of keep doing the jokes and maybe have a few moments of like there's not enough time to like we need to get into serious for like 3 minutes or something because that's like half the scene. But yeah, long form is I think where you'll probably find that more. But I think it's really cool. I'd love to try it too.
I think long form can still be like pretty consistently comedic. You just have to like keep in mind that like we're working towards an overarching story.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also it depends on the long form game you're doing too, right? Because like even though I don't know much about it and I really want to, but like with the Herald, that's like a bunch of random moments that do connect. And most of the time it is like funny punches, but occasionally we have like a serious storyline. And also, like, if you have something like, but like Middle Edition Schwartz, very comedic, very funny, because you see two people running around trying to play every character. I don't know. I don't want to police any long-form game, though. Like, you could be dramatic or funny whenever you want. I think Noel and I wanted to, for a minute, to talk about how it's cool to do serious improv sometimes.
I choose comedy, like, in all like, formats, in all outlets. Like, I've been dipping my toes into the acting pond recently, and I've done like a little bit of drama and a little bit of comedy, and I totally prefer comedy. And I think I should get more experience with drama stuff, but like improv, comedy, stand-up comedy, internet videos, comedy. They have to be funny, or else I don't like them, and I don't want to post them.
Yeah.
If it's not funny, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
So like I have a variety of like things that I try to do, but I always want it to be funny. And so, no, I don't like dramatic improv.
I love how at the beginning of this long tangent, you kind of went, it's interesting. I haven't tried it. And then you did walk yourself to be like, no, I don't like it though.
I've done
some
dramatic acting.
So when you say that, do you mean like, oh, I wouldn't go try to do improv and there's almost no jokes? Or do you mean like, I don't really like it when a serious beat happens in a scene? Or do you...
I mean, no, I would not want to do a dramatic play that is improvised.
That's not really what... fair. I think there's some confusion there. I think at first, like, there needs to be moments. But
I think having like a serious moment in an improv scene, it is there for comedic purposes still, because juxtaposing something wildly silly with like a really serious tender moment is silly because the characters were just doing ridiculous stuff.
Absolutely.
Right before.
Yeah, and walking back to what we were talking about too, that serious moment existed so that later on, or shortly after, someone could say, miscarriage, never heard of her.
So it can be broken.
Absolutely. Yeah, it exists to be broken.
Drama can serve purpose in comedy. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, like duh.
Yeah. Let's walk it back from today at practice a little further to the beginning of your comedy journey. Let's go back in time. So, where do we start, Noel? I've said this to the last two guests, and most of the guests that I'll be talking to, I do know, so I know a lot of their comedy journey. I might know the least amount of yours because you do a lot of stuff. Not necessarily. You don't always, like with Owen. I'm like almost always doing the comedic thing that we're doing with him. We're always at improv practice together. Even like we live together. We'll be like doing funny stuff when we live together.
Yeah.
You do a lot of stuff, not a lot, but you've done stuff not necessarily in my gaze. So I'd love to hear of any detail.
What'd you just call me? I'm kidding.
It would be true.
Thank you.
Of course. But let's talk about where does your comedy journey start? Where did it start? And tell me any details you think I might know, you think I might not know. Tell us the story. Tell us how'd we get here?
Bro, are you ready? Do you have 45 minutes?
Yeah, we do, actually.
Bang. So, I've always been creative. I've always wanted to create stuff. I used to be really into art, but also I've always been creative online too. And I've also kind of always performed as well. I used to do Irish dancing. I used to want to be a magician. I used to want to be on American Ninja Warrior. I used to. That's such a weird place to start.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
you were doing a lot of things, basically.
Yeah.
You wanted to be doing a lot of things.
Yeah. But I've always enjoyed making people laugh, and I've kind of always been told that I'm funny, like before anything, on a larger scale happened. people in real life, friends just told me I was funny, and I always loved making people laugh. Like middle school, high school, that's how I got by. I was the silly guy who would like crack a joke or like say something in class, like literal class clown, like had the guts to say something nuts in front of the teacher, and the teacher is just like, what the F? And the class is like peeing their pants.
Was it, because that's a huge like common story you hear from a lot of comedians. Like as a kid, I loved the knack of being funny. Was it something that you just always had this urge to do? Was it like a tactic in some way to like play with another part of your life, or was it just like there's an opportunity to be funny, why wouldn't I just go take that opportunity?
I don't know. I guess it just came to me. But at a certain point in my life, freshman year of college, I decided that. So I have this like feeling like every human being like has like a purpose. Like we all should have something that we are giving to humanity, And I came into college as a computer science major.
That's crazy. I forgot about that. You were a computer science major.
Nerd alert.
That's
Hello.
Crazy. When I learned who you were and your whole persona or whatever, and then you were like, I'm computer science, and I went, huh?
Hello, Java.
You sure about that?
Yeah. I was into it.
That's
I was
crazy.
like good at coding in high school.
Would you say you could pick it back up now? I'm just kind of curious.
Ugh.
Yeah, not really. You wouldn't even have like the drive for it.
It was more difficult in college.
As everything goes, you realize what you don't want to do and what you do want to do in college.
I was like, wait, I like this less than I used to.
Yeah.
But basically, with like internet stuff, I did YouTube vlogs in high school.
They're so entertaining.
Some of them are still up.
It's really good.
Don't watch.
He showed me some one time, and I went, "Whoa, this is awesome."
Gross.
Because it's not him right now.
It's
not at all him right now.
Different guy.
Different guy for sure.
And then on TikTok, I would do dances. I would dance on TikTok just because like that's what everyone
It was
doing.
the dance era of TikTok.
It was Coachella 2016. It was the thing to do at the time.
Everyone did it.
Would I make that video today? No.
That'd be so crazy if like, because
I did the Apple dance over the summer. Actually.
You did. That did. I wonder if anyone has been watching you since your dance phase and then was like, oh, is he doing it again? Kind of got excited.
I don't think so.
That would have been
the dance phase. It wasn't quite popular, but it was really fun, and it was a good workout too. Sophomore year of high school, I had no friends. I had like one friend, and I would just practice these TikTok dances at home and record these videos and spend like 2 hours like perfecting a dance and then like posting it online and getting like 200 views.
Hey man,
and I loved it.
That sounds like a lot to me.
And it was amazing, and I'm grateful for it, and it was really fun.
Awesome.
And then I started making silly videos still in high school. First I would just like play board games and like mix up the rules, and like take pieces and rules from other board games and mash them, and I would just semi-improvised, but we just like had a bunch of board games laying around in my house.
That sounds really fun.
And I would be like, here's how to play chess. And then I would like make up fake rules, or like, let's play Monopoly, and then like make up, just like combine pieces from different games. And it was just nonsense. It was very random core. It was like quick, random, and we would like change our sunglasses every time, and we would like wear a bunch of silly things or like wigs. And it was really just random core.
That's really fun. That's like a specific kind of content of just like, we don't give you any time to think. We're doing all sorts of random things. Cut. I love fast cut content too.
The comments were like, fever dream. Wait, why is no one talking about this thing that was in the video?
Oh,
why is no one talking about this thing?
I love a TikTok comment that's like, why is no one talking about the apple? And everyone is.
Why is no one talking about the dead body on the floor?
Oh my God, why is no one talking about the dog? It's a video of a dog, and they're like, why is no one talking about the dog? The dog's in the frame.
And like I 100% did that on purpose. Like,
yeah,
that was
absolutely.
my first like, hold on, like this is a tool, and I can like make people comment. Like I can like make people engage.
Awesome.
And then I had like 50K on TikTok coming into college. I had a series that I started with my best friend Maggie Elder it was a parody of Vogue 73 Questions with Vogue.
This was the first TikTok I saw of yours.
this was, yeah.
We could talk about what happened after I saw that too.
This was the first TikTok I made after coming to college. I was itching to make a video, but I was nervous. I was in a totally new world. There were a couple people from my high school were here, but like I wasn't super close. We weren't like hanging out every day. All new people around me, but I really wanted to make a TikTok, and so I had a script written. Still very like random core, but like in the format of 73 questions. So mocking just like a celebrity walking around, picking up like a pot or like a pear in their house and just like saying random stuff. And I got Jack Payne to film it and be the voice. And someone else was going to be the voice, Chris Coobs. And he flaked last minute. He had a paper to write.
Whoa.
And I saw Jack in the hallway and I was like, yo, Jack. And he was in my orientation group. We were tight. And I was like, Jack, would you film this for me? And a lot of the comments were like, the guy's voice is just like the guy's voice in the real 73 Questions with Vogue.
Whoa.
And so like he was a part of it.
Cool.
And that video performed very well. Partly because like the Villanova community discovered it and was like, that is South Campus.
Yeah, and everyone discovered it, and everyone believed you were really a TikTok guy and that you really went viral. And I remember I saw it, and
so me and Jacob had known each other through the improv club as well as our class Ancients, which is a class we have here at Villanova.
Yeah.
And we got dinner.
We got dinner.
Tell them
with Owen, I think.
What we talked about.
Yeah, we were with Owen. And so we were having dinner, and I don't know how we got into the topic of it. I didn't have TikTok till like late sophomore year, so I wasn't at all like familiar with TikTok or anything. I was like, I was just talking about, and Noel was talking about how he makes TikTok stuff, and I had seen his TikTok, like the one he's talking about there, and I don't know, we got to talking about it. And I was like, you ever go viral? And Noel was like,
and I was like, yeah.
And I went, no way. That's really, what? No way. And then you were just like, I kind of do that.
I kind of do
that like a little professionally. And I went,
I did not call myself professional at the time.
You said something that made me think, he does this.
You asked me if I had ever done a brand deal before, and I had done small brand deals.
That's called getting paid. It's called doing it professionally, Noel. Technically, that's what professional means.
I'm literally rolling my eyes at myself right now.
You never said professional. Let me be clear. Right. I thought that. I said, you ever done like a brand deal? And you said, I actually have. And then I went, I don't believe you.
He didn't believe me. And I was like, wait, what?
Because Noel didn't seem like the TikTok assholes that I had seen, like not on TikTok. Like I didn't have TikTok. So like I was like, you don't seem like a Addison Rae or like a Bryce Hall.
Bro, I hope not.
Yeah, and
I love Addison Rae today, by the way.
Yes.
Didn't like her at the time, love her now.
Oh yeah, I was like,
she has evolved in a good way.
Those were like those are like two big names, and I was like, you don't seem like an asshole social I didn't say that out loud, but I was like, you don't seem like a social
You told me that I don't seem like a TikToker, and I was like,
oh, did I say that?
No, yeah, big time. You were like, you really just don't give me you truly didn't believe me.
I didn't. I thought he was messing with me because I already had picked up like, oh, Noel does bits sometimes. He's messing with me.
You knew me well enough to know that I lie often.
That too.
For fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was like, he's messing with me. There's no way. I don't believe you. I don't really know when I started to, did you show me your TikTok? Or I don't really remember. At some point I was like, oh, I believe him. Oh, it's real.
Yeah, something like that.
That's a funny moment that Noel and I talk about often because it's ridiculous.
I love that story.
I didn't perceive you as a TikTok comedian, which there's TikTok comedians that are actually cool and they're funny and you're one of them, but the like stereotypical TikTok comedian influencer or whatever, I was like,
yeah,
you don't seem like a piece of sludge.
There's definitely some content that's like not super high quality, but also that sort of content, it's not gonna carry you anywhere. Like people who just like make, this is getting dirty.
I get cut. Yeah.
Some people make garbage and it works, and you're not honing your craft, and you're not becoming a better comedian, and you're not like, there's not longevity to that.
Yeah, and I think it's
cheap.
I think it's fine if you do that, but it's not fine if you do it and then you go, I'm just like a creative visionary. Don't tack genius onto garbage. Just call it garbage and then do garbage. And if you make money, cool. I don't care. I'm not paying you. You're not taking my money.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, do whatever. I
yeah.
just don't have any respect for your comments. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry, to make a long story short, Noel told me he did TikTok. I didn't believe him because I thought he was a genuine good person.
Thank you.
So that was the reason. And eventually I learned, life isn't just two-dimensional. People. For my first year of college, I was learning a lot of things. I was like learning not to be a dick sometimes and learning, people can be people and still be successful.
I also, and if we want to fast forward to the start of Noel Be Askin', which was a month later.
Yeah, we can talk about Noel Be Askin'.
Like a huge part of the reason why that was successful early on was timing. It was good timing. It was a really good time to do man on the street interviews on TikTok. I wasn't that funny at the time at all. It was low effort. It was low quality. I had a cheap microphone. I filmed on my iPhone, and it was like single clips. It was like not a whole production thing. And it was just a really hot time to do man on the street because no one was doing it at the time.
Yeah.
Besides like Davis from What's Poppin' and like I actually don't know anyone else who was doing it. I just watched Billy on the Street over COVID, and like for the 6 months leading up to college, I was like, God, I want to do that. God, I want to do that.
Too bad I can't because it's impossible.
I don't have access to public spaces.
Wait.
And then I was like walking past the Oreo, and I was like, there is a steady stream of traffic full of people who are my age. Hello?
Yeah.
And so I just started filming by the Oreo, and the first video got 3 million likes.
And it took off.
And then boom, I was like, we've got something here. And then I posted every day for like a month.
We'll get back to it because I want to talk to you specifically about interview comedy because that is a specific thing. Yeah. But let's rewind back from there.
Okay.
So tell me what starting improv was like for you. Tell me about coming into the club. If you hadn't done improv before, or if you had, what was starting with Ridiculum like?
So I definitely had not done improv before. It must have been Andrew Mister.
Probably.
Like
it was involvement fair, I assume?
Yeah, it was involvement fair. My memory's hazy, but I remember seeing like Comedy Club, and I was like, yeah, I'm rocking with that. I do silly. I do joke. And I was like, stand up, that's cool. I want to try stand up. And they were like, come to an improv meeting. And I was like, sure.
I said stand up, but
like not what I said.
You said improv. You said improv, right? No, stand up.
Oh, sorry, you misspoke. I said stand up.
No, you said improvisational comedy. Yeah.
And I went to an improv practice, and I didn't play a single game. I didn't get involved. I just watched it. And I was like, that's cool. Yeah. And I kept coming back, came back, fell in love with it, like really quickly. Fell in love with it. And I was bad at first. And to a certain extent, I was aware of how bad I was, and then I got better, and I was like, oh yeah, I was pretty bad.
Looking back on an old scene, especially if like we filmed them,
Ew.
And looking at scenes now, I'm like,
no.
I'm glad I stayed and didn't just let that be the last time I did improv. Well, I guess we could also touch on, because it's a similar trajectory. So then, like, you also did stand-up, though. You stayed with stand-up, or did you mostly stick with improv for a little bit? You did the first stand-up show of the year.
I did do the first stand-up show of that year. I had my purple sparkly shirt. That was my first time performing stand-up ever for an audience, and I forgot every single joke that I wrote.
But you said them.
I said them, and I'm proud of myself for doing that, but I brought like 25 friends to that show.
You were like half the show. It
was like half of the audience, and I got up there, and I brought my energy with me and my sparkly shirt and my smile, and then I forgot every single joke. And then I kept picking up my phone to look at my jokes written down on my phone, and then I would put it back down, and then I would say the next sentence, and I was just so nervous.
Yeah, fair.
And I would just forget the next sentence again. I would say the line, forget it, look back at my phone, deliver the line, forget the next one, look back at my phone. It was so often and so repetitive that the audience thought that was part of the performance. They thought I was kidding.
They did.
That I forgot every single freaking
It ended up working, but I can't imagine.
It did.
Well, no, as in there were laughs. If laughs exist, the comedy worked. Maybe not how you wanted it to, though.
There was one time where I looked at my phone, put it down, went back to the microphone,
said nothing,
forgot again, went back to my phone, and that like genuinely got a laugh. and also was not on purpose.
I want. How did was that like fun to still get the laughs, or were you still like, this isn't how it was supposed to go? I don't like that I'm getting laughs.
I was queefing the whole time.
I'm sure.
I was freaking out.
Yeah. I mean, also you were one of like maybe 2 of the new members that decided to perform. Like there weren't a ton of us, but
Something like that.
I think you were like Owen did a set, a really short one at the beginning. He opened, but you had like a little bit of a longer set. You were like the only other new person.
It's longer when you forget every single thing and you have to read it off your phone.
Yeah.
But also, I'm so proud of where I've come.
Absolutely.
With stand-up.
No,
and I'm really working on stand-up right now.
Absolutely.
Because I have a live show.
We could talk about that. Absolutely, we can. I'm going to go a little bit into your journey, and I'd love to talk about your live comedy show.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but like because I asked Owen this too. What did like coming into the improv space, the stand-up space that Ridiculum specifically brought? Like, what did that feel like? What was the atmosphere like for you? Was it initially? Did you not do much at the beginning just because you were like, oh, I'm not going to do anything yet, I'm kind of scared? Or did it feel like you couldn't do anything? Like, what did that coming into like that space, that environment feel like for you?
I thought it was cool.
Yeah?
And one thing that I will note is that it's not an intimidating space. It's not, the people are not intimidating. Not to like insult the people of the club. It's a warm atmosphere. It's a comfortable place. And improv is a scary thing to try out for the first time, and so is stand-up. But I love the club, and I love that we have those 2 parts of the club as spaces to practice.
Absolutely. I tell this to people, and they're probably tired of me saying it because they're like, you talk about improv all the time, Jacob, talk about something else. But I'm like, I don't know what I'd be doing right now if Ridiculum didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would have tried to start a club. I didn't come to college like, I'm going to do comedy. I just saw it at the involvement fair, and I was like, I guess I'll join. This seems like I guess I'll do this. I joined specifically because it said sketch comedy on the sign-up list.
Which we don't have.
But we do, but it's not Ridiculum. Like, I got VTV is the sketch comedy.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, but it was weird that it was on there. I was like, oh, I'll do sketch comedy. And eventually I found myself doing sketch comedy with, like, VTV. And that's equally as fun. And we can talk about sketch, too, in a minute, because you mess with that.
Did you see me and Kevin's sketch? Yes, you did.
Loved it.
You did.
I loved it so
Thank
much.
you
It was awesome.
Before we leave Ridiculum, I for sure would say the comedy club Ridiculum here at Villanova has absolutely fostered my love for comedy and affected me. And I probably would have found myself going that direction regardless, because like by the end of freshman year, I had 2 hit internet shows and I was like, whoa, we can do this like a lot more, and let's switch my major to communications or something easier or something that makes sense for me.
Absolutely.
Like I was moving, my life path was changing big time. But like at the same time, I was like in love with improv and stand-up, which are so handy. And it also, getting ahead of myself with the interview thing, improv helps so tremendously with comedic interviews. Thinking on my feet, responding, working with someone, setting someone up, and when they set me up, slam dunking it. Yeah,
let's I think we've sorry. I think we've touched on your comedy journey a good amount. I'm glad you and I found Ridiculum. I'm glad it exists, because I think I'd be so bored right now. Even like like peace and love to VTV. Nothing against VTV. If I was just doing VTV, I'd still be having fun. I need the outlet that Ridiculum gives me. That eventually, I think I'm gonna try to keep getting something out of when I leave school. I need to be at like some local theater when I'm
seriously, dude. Same. I need to do improv after college. I have to have that in my life.
No, I think especially I'm thinking about with you. Like I think it's like
keeps me sharp.
You could call it a business expense to take improv classes.
Yeah.
Like legitimately,
like it's literally gonna. It just keeps me fresh, keeps me on my toes. Like I need to be doing that. I need to be put in a position to think on the fly.
Yeah,
in a comedic way.
I'm gonna lose my mind if I'm not like signed up to do improv class. Well, I need to save up money for that, but or doing, or at least just watching improv shows live within like 6 months of being out of school. If I'm not doing that, I'm going to lose my mind, because it's something I need to keep getting exposed to. But moving on from your comedy journey, kind of talking about how you found yourself in these different springs of comedy, different wells. I want to talk about specifically interview comedy. It's
Boom.
I don't think it's something that you invented, but I think of you when I think of this, because it's like, this is the person that's closest to me that does this specific kind of comedy. And truth be told, I don't know shit about it. Like, I've watched you do it and I could probably infer some things, but just tell me a little bit about that, how it worked, what it's like technically, or not technically, how not technical or technical is it? Like, how is it similar to improv? Like you said, how is it dissimilar to improv? What's it like being in that space compared to other areas of comedy that you've done?
From the beginning of my interviews online, it wasn't like I wasn't so consciously making it comedic. I wasn't as conscious of the final product and like, what are people enjoying about this right now? Like, what's going to be funny? What is funny? Like, obviously I was figuring it out. And my early interviews used to be like a 12 to 15 minute conversation with someone, and we talked about whatever, and if there was a funny clip, I would clip it and I would post it. And now it's like, it's more of a formula, and I'm sort of in this transitional period actually right now with interview comedy, where some of it is like I'm pulling myself away from traditional man on the street, because it's over. It's not the time. It's
really?
It's not hot. It's behind, like, normal man on the street.
Yeah, so then I guess my question there is
interview
like,
it's like
it's
interview
changing. It's not that you're like dropping Noel B. Askin. It's just turning into something different.
Still doing it. It's turning into something different. Basically my kind of game plan after college is to keep the structure, the format of it, but put myself with a comedian in front of the camera, especially if this comedian has a background in improv.
Absolutely.
Because bits on bits on bits on bits, people dig it. I've been really messing around with, like, what if I just brought some TikTok comedian onto Noel B. Askin and said, hey, I'm going to throw out a question. We can go wherever we want with it. We can run any bit that you think of, and I'm right there with you, because I do freaking improv. And it's been going really well.
That's awesome. No, I gotta say, it's especially fun when you'll text like the Ridiculum group me and be like, I'm doing interviews at noon at the Oreo, and all of us are
come here and be funny.
And all of us are like, practice hasn't been in 2 days. I need to do something. I need to do some sort of comedy. Like
that, again, like, Ridiculum has helped me shape, because I created that banger video just by inviting the club. Like, it was so efficient. I was like, hey guys, pull up. We're doing a parody video not a parody, like a trick video almost, where I asked the question, what's your best advice for college freshmen? And you guys give me wrong answers only. But I don't say in the video wrong answers only. So it takes the viewer until like the second or third response to realize, oh, they're just kidding.
Are they kidding?
Like, they're giving us garbage on purpose, and that's the joke of the video.
Owen and I were, Owen downloaded the TV app version of TikTok the other day. It was weird.
Oh.
That exists on, like, I don't know. It was strange. But he did that, and we stumbled upon, we were looking at his liked videos, and we stumbled upon one that we did last year. Me, Owen, Jack was there. I forget the other guy's name because he's not in Ridiculum, but someone else that I think you know was there. And you asked us, like, advice for college freshmen. And Owen said something like, oh, scoop the yogurt with your hands. And Jack was like, get to class and sprint to class. People love the smell of your body odor. Mm-hmm. That was really fun. And we were like, this was so fun. I want to do this more. Like, Noel's got to text us if he's doing another shoot.
By the way, I want to do that concept again.
I would love to.
I did it the past 2 years, and it worked well both times.
That's awesome. No, it's so fun.
Almost too late. We waited. I waited. It's on me. I should have hit that.
You could do it when like Admitted Students Day is coming around.
I don't even know what that is. Whatever.
You gotta do research.
Well, let's do it after break.
Absolutely.
Before it gets too chilly.
Yeah. Also.
God. I don't want to do interviews in the wintertime. I'm so pissed in advance for the wintertime coming up. Winter, shut up. I support global warming, and I said it here first.
God.
I want the globe to be warm. I don't want to be chilly. My feet are cold. Stop talking to me about it. All right, there. I'm done.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I just got upset about wintertime happening in the future.
That's hilarious.
My bad. I love doing
It's not even cold, but Noel's like, I know it's gonna happen. I know winter's gonna show its dirty ass at some point in the next few.
Brutal.
It's
brutal.
coming, and I hate her so much. She's such a bitch. Winter. I don't like her.
No, I do not like the wintertime. I get depressed. We all get depressed.
It's a good point.
No one's in a good mood.
No.
Everyone's cold. No one wants to stop for an interview. If they do stop for an interview, they're like uncomfortable. One time it was so effing cold, and I was just freezing the whole time, and it was either Jack or Michael was the camera guy, was like, it might have been Michael, was literally like freezing, like his fingers were freezing, and none of the interviews were good because no one was comfortable because it was so cold.
That sucks.
So like the environment is a huge part of it.
Would you consider, because you do a lot of it, although I'm trying to think of like sound and acoustics, during winter, would you do interviews like in buildings?
Yeah,
like inside?
I've done that.
You've done that? I think that would be a cool place to do it too.
Yeah, it's not like bad. I just prefer to be outdoors, but it has. I've had videos work inside.
I would, I like the idea. I did just pitch it, but I would be thrown off guard if I saw Noel be asking TikTok and it wasn't outside. I'd be like, what's going on? Why are they inside?
POV, I've done a few, and I've done like a bunch inside.
I
You're good.
don't watch your content vigorously, but whenever it pops up in my feed,
good.
it's outside.
In general, the indoor ones perform worse on average. So
Okay.
but I've had some videos work. Like when I if I haven't posted in a while, like I'll do something inside.
Interesting.
I've had stuff that I like and that I'm proud of come from indoor interviews, but outside is so better.
Awesome.
I'll just go to like LA or Florida.
Yeah, you just got to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Be like, if anyone wants to do an interview, I'll be in LA. I really still want Villanova students to be there. So if you want to, you could like do your own Noel be trip, Noel be going to LA or something.
Noel be flying.
Noel be flying to a warmer place because it's better than winter. Fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winter.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that. You maybe gave me a title there. I appreciate it. So that's the title of the episode.
Oh, bang. What's
Yeah.
the title?
Probably something with winter. I don't know.
Yeah. F winter.
F winter.
Or like I support global warming.
Noel B. Doherty supports global warming.
Bruh.
You want that?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, whatever.
I'd love to hear you talk about the interview comedy for the rest of the show. There's so much to touch though. So I'd love to ask you specifically with like improv scenes. Or it doesn't just have to be improv scenes, but it's where I see you the most. That's the element and area of which I see you do this the most.
Uh-huh.
What like characters would you say that you fall back on the most, or like that you often will take as like a default? Because like and it's harder for, I don't know why, but it's really hard for me to. And this might be, I don't know if this is a hard question for you to ask, but like I'm sure there might be specific characters that I find I do on stage or that I fall back on. It's really hard for me to identify those. I don't often think about my comedy style, and so it's really hard if someone asks me that question. But if possible, is there any kind of character that you love to fall back on? Any kind of act out? Any kind of voice that you love?
I love doing like Southern man.
You do that
Southern middle-aged man. Something that I am very conscious of with characters is like posture, mannerisms, voice. And I would love for all three of those to be different from me, who I am as a person in real life.
Absolutely.
And so like my legs are wide, my hips are forward, my hands are on my belt, and I'm talking like this, boy. I also love doing an elderly man. Where are you? What's going on?
What about a southern elderly man?
Never. Never
You'll
in my life, Jacob. Never say that again to me. I'm so pissed.
You'll never mix them?
Absolutely not.
Those two things should not be together.
Southern people don't get old. You mark my words.
They die early.
Yeah. And also, my old people often get a New York accent.
Yeah.
It just like
It does
it's
fit.
just easy.
What are you doing?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Get out of my face!
I was getting a hot dog. You were. No. I've been in New York so many times. I got so many references. Can you tell?
Other characters I like to do. I love to do like hyper masculine or hyper feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and maybe hyper feminine is like I don't even know. I enjoy both. I think both can be very funny. I think as a gay guy, I think doing the hyper masculine bit, people tend to enjoy that, especially if they know me.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, this is silly because Noel wears bright colors."
Absolutely. Or even if like they get a few seconds to see you on stage before you get into the character, they're like, I can already clock what kind of guy this is, and he is not that guy, and that's great.
Yeah, like I'm a silly, like I'm not a scary guy. I'm a goofball.
Yeah.
And suddenly I'm like, dude, brah, what are you even talking about right now? Oh, I'm gonna go F some girl in the club.
I would never be gay.
Where's the ping pong balls? I hate F slur. F slur.
No, I mean, you talk about that, and it confirms, my thoughts about you on stage. I do think, and I don't think there's anything against someone doing an improv scene and being them. I don't think you always have to have a character. I think you can always be a pretty normal person.
Right. Yeah.
You probably the most, at least, maybe there was some alum that I would also say the same for. But at the moment of people that I perform improv comedy with, if you choose to, you will almost never seem like yourself on stage. Like the characters you get yourself into. If you choose to, you won't be, oh, it's just Noel doing something. Like, you'll get into the character, I think, the most out of everyone that I perform with right now.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
That's something that I really want to do more of. I think oftentimes, like, I'll just start a scene, and you can make any choice you want when you start a scene, no matter what is going on in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But I find myself a lot, and again, like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's just something I want to change. I'll start the scene like, and here we are at the hot dog stand, whereas I could just be like, hey, here we are, there's the hot dog stand.
Right.
Like, I want to start doing scenes and initiating not as myself.
You can and you don't have to, and I want to encourage people to do that.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, new members, okay, pick a mannerism, pick a posture, pick a voice that is not your own, and, like, go. Like, someone be really old, someone be a child, someone be from the South or the West Coast or a different country or something. I think, because I think those are tools in our tool belt. I think practicing accents and practicing being something that you're not is a tool for an improv scene. If we need an old man, I got you. Well, we can all do an old man.
I also really like doing an old man. I don't fall into it, I think, as much as you do, because I just don't. I want to start making character pointed decisions when it's not necessary, because that doesn't disrupt the scene. That adds to it. But yeah, I like doing an old man. But genuinely, I think you're the first person I've seen in a while. There's probably some alumni that also did it often pretty well. Jay did it pretty well. Jay was almost, well, not, but if he decided to be, he wasn't himself for the whole scene.
Mm-hmm.
He was someone else. He was another character, someone outlandish.
He did accents.
He was great with that. But genuinely, you are the person that, if choosing to, will not be yourself until the scene is over.
Thank you.
And you almost never break it too, because that's also a tough thing, is to choose that you want to be a character and then to keep doing it. That's something that I think we're trying to preach right now to our, or just, not even just to our new members, just in general to the club right now at improv practices. Like, if you're going to be a character, be the character the whole time. Don't take a break. And you don't take breaks. And I love that you don't take breaks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's really cool.
That's something I'm going for. Like, I really appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
I think, and I think you're right. Like, because you talk about when you first started improv, and like we've developed better as improvisers. I don't think you did it a lot at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
But I saw at some point, because I think you were, but again, not in the negative ways. I think you were yourself a few times in like those early scenes, and it was still funny. Genuinely, just kind of you at like an idle state is still pretty funny.
Thank you.
But I think there was at some point a switch flipped, and you were like, I'm almost never gonna be myself ever again, and it was awesome, and that's a good thing. All the movies are like, you gotta be yourself.
You know what?
But an improv
You know what?
yeah.
My Coffee Table Book, Yes Please, by Amy Poehler, I read it duh.
Mhm.
And I might have read it twice. And there was a part in it where she was talking about like doing acting and improv. And when you're acting, you have to audition for a role. You're asking someone to cast you as something specific. You're asking someone to tell you what to be and who to be. But in an improv scene, every single time you step on stage, you're casting yourself as whatever makes sense, whatever you want to be. You can be the hot cheerleader. You can be an elderly man. You can be whatever. And so I was like, oh my God, bang. Like, I'm going to be everything. I want to be everything.
I think you have so far.
Thanks, dog.
It's awesome. I love it a lot. I think character work. We have specific comedians in Ridiculum that have like specific niches or like it's where they do best. I think I would put you in any game, but like if I had a choice, I'd be like, put Noel in a character game. Put Noel in a game where he gets to be a character based on an audience suggestion or just by his own choice. He'll do best there. Like he does really good there.
Thank you.
But also inversely too. You do pretty good in scene games as well. We've gotten kind of good at improv. We're all right.
We've gotten kind of good at
We're all right. Yeah. Pivoting a little bit, I guess I asked Kevin about this because he's almost only into stand-up. With stand-up, what kind of comedian would you categorize yourself as? Because, you have, like, observational comedians like Jerry Seinfeld. You have storytelling comedians. You have comedians that do almost all characters and impressions. Where would you say that falls? Are you more of a variety? Is it impossible to pin you to one specific type of comedian? Is it a mix of a few?
That's really tough, and that's something that I'm still figuring out.
I think it's great if you're still figuring it out, because then it's fun. Then you don't really have to stick to a certain persona.
I love John Mulaney because he is animated and clean. He does clean comedy, and I'm taking that and I'm keeping that. I love Bo Burnham because it's like sort of mixed media, like musical, voiceover. He's a lot of movement, a lot of physical stuff.
Yeah.
That I really enjoy. Julio Torres, very inspirational to me. I cannot do what he does. He's like surreal.
Absolutely.
And like kooky and really, really creative.
I would love to be that, yeah.
But also low-key, I did write a bit that's like sort of in that vein recently, but it wasn't very good. I tested it out in front of the stand-up class. Were you there? I was like on the table and on the floor.
Oh, no, but you told me about it.
Yeah. I did that at stand-up practice.
You did? Yeah, you also did that.
Onomatopoeias.
I'm excited for that, though. That'll be fun. You're throwing it away?
I don't know if I'm going to use it.
Ugh. All right, I'll steal it.
So for you guys, my bit is onomatopoeias personified. So it's like me acting as if I'm whatever this onomatopoeia would be and do and look like if it was a person. And so this is a podcast, so it's actually all visual. But like pop is just like girl with ponytail, and so I just kind of like tilt my head like a cheerleader who would like slit your throat, but like I'm smiling at you, and I'm like
I'm Pop.
Pop.
Hi, I'm Pop. I think that would be super fun to do as like a improv exercise too, to like for a minute only you personify a concept like that. That's a really fun thing to do too.
Yes, we should do that.
Well, a few of in writing what's it like prompts. What's it like is a prompted improv show that we do sometimes, and it's a part of another show that we do. But basically, I write prompts. Comedians that are improvisers do it on the spot. When writing a few make some noise prompts, not make some noise is the show that I copy when
right.
Love Dropout. I'm addicted to Dropout.
Serve.
What's it like is make some noise, but they don't have copyright on prompted improv. But with what's it like, sometimes when I'm writing a prompt, I will just be like, let's just make a concept do a thing. The concept of time buys groceries. That sometimes writing for those, that's what I'll do. But I love taking abstract things and being like, all right, now pretend if that person had like a 401k and had to like feed a family.
Yeah.
Please do that.
We're back on improv again, but
yeah,
stand up, I don't know. I am still finding my footing. I love impressions. I love doing characters on stage. Really enjoy that. Really want to lean into that. I am moving all the time. And so I'm animated and clean, like cartoonish. I want to describe myself as cartoonish, actually.
Cartoonish.
So you remember Ruckus. I made a short film over the summer. It's not out yet. It's called Ruckus, and it's so lowbrow and campy that it is like cartoonish. That's the writing style. That's the like acting style of the film. That's the comedic style of the film, is like cartoony, like not believable, but silly and clean. So like a kid would laugh at it.
Yeah.
A kid is allowed to watch it, and they would get the jokes as well.
Yeah, like I think the only thing a kid that's like mature themes is people get killed, and even then, like who cares? Like
Right.
it's a murder thing, and it's really fun. It was really fun to film. It was really cool. I've never done sound before, but Noel was like, "You need to do sound," and I went. That's it.
We were filming in 2 days, and my sound guy dropped out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Jacob Marscola, you know how we love each other. And we would always help the other guy out in a pinch.
Yeah.
I'm making a movie, and I need your help.
Of course.
Would you hold the boom for me and also acquire a boom for me? Because the other guy, he was going to come and he was going to bring his own sound equipment, and now he's not coming. So I don't have the guy, and I also don't have sound equipment. And can you do that for my movie? All right, I'm tired.
Yeah,
of
I
that
guess
song.
I guess I could do that. I never done it before, but
All right, bang.
I
Thanks,
guess
dude.
whatever. And then we did it.
And then we did it.
And that's what happened. It was a weird phone call to get. He started singing. It was strange.
I had so much fun making that.
Yeah, it was really fun to make. It was really cool to see the last filming of it, and it was really cool.
It was only 2 days.
It was only 2,
filming,
yeah, but
so
I loved getting to see the back half. I loved getting to see y'all wrap it up.
love my back half.
His back half's great, and by that I just mean the back part of his body. I don't really love. I don't really.
My back.
I don't
Just like my back.
If you split Noel down the middle, like cut his head
that way?
no, like this way, like.
Yeah, like my face falls forward.
Like your face
and
falls forward, yeah. I don't love his front half very much, but the back half's pretty good.
Nice.
He's got a good back half. We're getting close to the end, but we're not done yet. I want to give you time to talk about what you're doing for your senior capstone as a communications student,
Woohoo!
which is you're studying live, or you have been. You've been for a while studying live comedy. That's like the subject of your thing. You interviewed me about comedy.
I did.
And that was really fun.
So last semester, communications majors have to do a qualitative or quantitative research project, and it's a semester-long thing. And the professor, I am tight with him, Dr. Evan Shares, and I had taken him twice before, so like we know each other. And I was like, I signed up for your qualitative research class. I'm so excited. He was like, oh, good to know, good to know. Wait a minute, like you're interested in comedy, right? I feel like you've mentioned that before. And I was like, yes, oh my gosh, I'm dedicating my whole freaking life to that. Like, duh.
Of course.
And he was like, we might be able to figure something out, because he does like this alternate track where you can do a performance as the capstone. So the qualitative or quantitative research project always, or usually, or sometimes, or should, the research project can lead into the capstone project. And usually it's done in groups, but if you do this alternate track, you can do it by yourself. And some people do like a live show, like a play or something, under like the performance category of communications. Anyway, I studied live comedy all semester. I interviewed 7 comedians, including Jacob. Everyone had various levels of like experience, and like some of them were like professional comedians. And it was super cool to talk about improv and stand-up and joke writing and how to produce a live show. And I wrote a freaking 14-page paper on it, and then over the summer started getting ready. And at the end of the paper, I was like, this paper serves to inform my senior capstone project, which is a live variety comedy show. It's called Noel Be Live. We're in the fall now, and so I'm like doing the thing. It's on December 7th. I will be doing stand-up, improv, sketch, and I will premiere my short film, so it's mixed media. Ruckus will be premiering on December 7th in the Conley Cinema, and I'm going to fill an hour. I'm going to put together a live variety comedy show, and I've never done an hour before, but I'm stoked. I'm happy that the movie is going to take up 15 minutes because it's a short film, and that's like, I can just like sit down.
That does help.
You know.
So get your bearings.
Also, really grateful for the improv club, because I'm going to bring you guys on stage. I don't have to plan that, you know. I just have to show up to practice.
Actually,
and
it's detrimental if you do.
It's like kind of the whole point that we don't plan it.
Yeah.
But I feel really confident about the team this year.
Me too. I don't know who we're going to bring, because I don't imagine we can bring the whole club for a 20-minute set. But we'll definitely start figuring that out soon.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure that out soon for you.
It's going to be good. I feel really good about it. And Kevin is going to do 10 minutes at the front.
Yeah.
And so like 10 minutes of stand-up, Kevin, 10 minutes of me stand-up, 20 minutes of improv, 15 minutes of the short film, which I'm not actually exactly sure how long it's going to be, but the estimated runtime is 15 minutes. And then I'm going to do like a couple little sketches that'll fill like 5 minutes.
I was going to say, are those going to be like SNL live sketches or sketches that you've made that you're just going to also play? Or are these going to be like live sketches?
Yeah.
Really?
Thank you.
Let me know about that.
Yeah, bang.
That sounds really cool.
So I say sketch, but some of it is sort of like bits. So part of it, I think I want to do like live interviews where I'm pretending that they're live and made up on the spot, but they're scripted.
Okay, cool.
I tried that out at our stand-up open mic.
You did do that,
and it went well.
It was fun.
What did you?
I liked it a lot.
Feedback?
I didn't know that you were doing it.
Could you tell it was fake?
Oh, was it?
With Jace.
Oh, with Jace
with the mustache.
With Jace, I knew. Didn't you bring someone, or was it just Jace that you brought up?
The first guy, I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
I was planning on only doing one interview up at this open mic, and then these freshmen start squealing.
Yeah.
They're like, "Rah, rah, 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 this guy. And I was like, he really looks like he doesn't want to come up.
And his name was also?
His name was Noel.
Yeah.
And they were like, his name is Noel too. And
you have to.
I was like, all right, get up here.
All right, we have to.
And
I'm a bad comedian if I don't bring you up here right now.
It's like, hello, instant crowd work.
Have to do that.
And so I just roasted him and then told him to go sit back down. No, I did. He was good. He was a good sport.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah.
And then I interviewed Jace, which was my friend Jace, it was pre-planned. We wrote it like an hour before.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I can't say how confident I am. I don't know what you're doing with the sketch thing. I think if for anything, probably will only be performing in like the improv section of that. But let me know, because I've told Noel I'd love to help produce this. I'm a huge fan. As much I love the performing part of being in this comedy club. I'm also addicted to the setting up shows part, which doesn't sound fun at all, but I like it a lot.
You're into it. You're so logistical. One thing about Jacob Marscola, he loves logistics. He's going to plan that thing out. Yeah. I'm going to wing it, and stuff is going to happen.
Yeah. Reach out to me. Let me know. I guess planning's happening now. Like, I would love to be guy with clipboard and telling people what to do. And then going to you like, should they do this? Okay. Do this. Get on stage, you fuck. Come on.
Dude, I would love that.
It'd be awesome, yeah.
I would love that. Yeah, no. December 7th, mark it in your calendar.
Absolutely. The day after
our stand-up showcase.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of perfect timing.
I know, yeah.
Because, so me and Jacob are both in this stand-up class right now. And so once a week, so every week we like write jokes and we talk about comedy and we talk about comedians, and then we share our jokes with the class and everyone gives each other feedback. It's really healthy. It's really great. It keeps me on track.
I'm gonna have Dr. Spiro on here. I'm gonna get him on here.
Oh my God,
yeah,
you should.
That's gonna be really fun.
JP.
I'm excited to talk to him about like the philosophy of comedy. He's like super deep into the holistic aspect of just comedy in general. I'm excited to talk to him about it. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a really fun class. And at the end of the semester.
At the end of our semester, the senior capstone, the
final project.
Showcase.
Really the only grade that exists in this class.
Yeah, the final project of the class is a show on December 6th. And so I'm just going to like prepare 10 or maybe 12 minutes if I can.
Definitely.
Of like my best stuff, and then just like record that and like really, really take one last comb through it all and say like, is there anything we need to cut? Is there anything I can trim? Is there anything that like didn't hit the way I wanted it to? Or is there anything that was like such a big response that I like should lean more into that? Because I mean, it's a whole different audience.
Yeah.
That'll be on the 7th, but I'm really happy that I have a place to practice just the stand-up portion of the show.
Trust me.
That might be the part that I'm most nervous about.
Fair.
It's just me up there.
It's just you. I was going to ask, too, I guess, the show's almost over. The episode's almost over, but I was going to ask you this, too. Are you performing with us in the improv section, or are you taking anyone but you in the club? Or do you want to also perform improv with us?
I'm going to do improv as
Okay,
well,
cool. You're going to do stuff with us. Awesome. No, I was going to say, as much as it is a different audience, speaking from the perspective of someone who did this class last year, has done the showcase at the end of the semester, it's not too different from it doesn't feel too different from like a Ridiculum stand-up audience. It's just a
Nice.
little smaller. Honestly, that's it.
Oh, boom.
It's not that bad, and it's also really cool if you like invite people, so then you know the people, which you're pretty familiar with. That's like usually how we get people is we all invite friends, and that's our whole audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a million other things that we could talk about, Noel, but the time's up.
We didn't talk about college cribs.
We didn't.
It's okay, though.
It's okay.
I don't do it anymore.
You don't do it anymore. What's college cribs? Doesn't exist anymore.
Dead to me.
Dead to Noel.
Highlight of my freaking career.
It was really cool.
It was really cool.
Come over to VTV. We'll do it with you
All right.
if you want to.
Fine.
I really hope you all enjoyed this episode. I sure did. I have enjoyed every episode so far. But I got to say, Noel, this is definitely the third episode I've recorded, and I really liked it.
This is by far
The
the
third.
third episode I've ever recorded
You know
of
what?
this show.
No other show I think is ever going to live up to being the third episode.
Jacob, thank you so much for having me. I love talking about
Of
comedy.
course.
And I love talking about me.
Absolutely. I was like, Noel's gonna have all sorts of content for me to deal with. So thank you so much. Appreciate
dog.
you coming onto the show. We'll definitely have you back on if the opportunity comes up.
Promise?
Absolutely.
Pinky? I'm making him pinky promise.
We're making a pinky
but We're
promise.
kind of far away.
Yeah. This is what it would sound like if you could. It's like a pinky. Thank you so much for listening, you champions of Chuckle. I'd like to say thank you to Andrew Mister for the use of this podcast theme song, Cruisin'. Thank you to our guest, Noel, for coming onto the show.
And thank you to our sponsor, BetterHelp. Therapy, but over Zoom.
Therapy for when you're listening to a bad podcast and you need to talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
My name is Jacob Marscola, reminding you to laugh, especially when it's funny.
All around, memorizing the highways in our own